Top 90 Vikings continues 75-61. Let's go. Boom. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus, and the top 90 continues. We broke down 90-76. Now we're starting to get into the dirt. The dirt of it.
I think it's the meat and potatoes is what you call it, not the dirt.
You're right.
Again, easily
this
is becoming one of our more popular series we've ever done, and we're going to keep it going 75-61, counting these 90 Vikings down who are on the squad as of right now. First cuts are sometime in the summer. So right now we have 90 guys, 90 Vikings who will be battling out in camp this year to get to the final 53. Before we get into it, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids, hashtag 8,000. We're closing in.
We are, and you know what? These are just something to pass the time by. There's no news. If there is, we're all over it. But like Lupagus said, meat and potatoes, not the dirt. And let's start off with 70. So actually, before we get into that, let's just remind everybody 76-90. This is who is already off the board. We made some very tough calls here, but these guys are gonzo.
A couple of veterans there, Jacina, Hinton. And again, most of these are practice squatters who have long shots to make the team, but I think we're pretty right on there.
Yeah, but now it starts getting a little bit fun. So let's start off at 76, and let's start off with that big man, the undrafted free agent defensive tackle.
It's actually 75, but yeah, Tyra Stevenson, the big nose tackle. Again, you're looking at these undrafted free agents, and there's always at least one that makes the team. If there is two, I think this guy probably has the second best chance just because that nose tackle position, Vikings don't have. Harrison Phillips, Delvin Tomlinson, I don't know how that's going to work there. Tomlinson's gone next year. You might want a young guy to bring up. So Stevenson, he's big, powerful, and quick, so he's got a shot.
Yeah, and the fact that we got him falling into the second tier here, that's saying that we got high hopes for this guy. We will see what he brings to the table. And spoiler alert, he's not the only defensive tackle on this list. Let's go to the next one. That is wide receiver Tristan Jackson, former Ram. Maybe that helps him. Maybe it hurts him. But he was a Ram, undrafted free agent, 6'1", 4'5". He's just, I don't know. I don't know a ton about him. I'm not going to pretend I know a ton about him. But the fact that he just really doesn't seem to stick out in any category, size, speed, we'll see.
We're going to respect his tenure in the league and put him ahead of some other undrafted rookies. So Tristan Jackson gets a spot here on the list. Again, to me, a very long shot to make this team. Let's go to 73. And TJ Smith, that's who I got. I think you might have the same.
TJ Smith, undrafted free agent, had a good college career at Arkansas, but he has not gotten on the field as a pro. And again, kind of like Jackson, nothing really wows you about this guy. It's a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
He did get in. It looks like he had a game last year for the Vikings. He had 3 tackles.
That must have been a game where I was clearly passed out. I do not remember that for a second.
Doesn't show which game it was,
sure?
But I'm looking at it right now. Pro Football Reference. TJ Smith. He snuck on the field, did a little something.
All right, TJ Smith comes in. Next up, another defensive tackle or defensive lineman, Jalen Twyman. The man last year, was he 6th or 7th round? 6th round, right?
Yeah, we didn't have a 7th rounder last year.
So Twyman, this guy, he's just question marks. We have no idea what we have here. If he had a good college career, for some reason he went really late. I am really looking forward to seeing this guy in the preseason, see what he brings to the table. I look forward to him making us look like fools for having him this late. And again, like Stevenson, I'm all about the Twyman. I want him to show up.
Yeah, I loved him last year in the draft, and I was surprised he fell away at the 6th round. He didn't get shot last year, missed his entire rookie year. So basically, this is his rookie season. And again, he's at a depth chart battle, which I think he's got a chance to squeak on there. So definitely Jalen Twyman. We may actually get to see him this year and see what he brings to the table. And again, a guy I think has a shot here. So I hope he does make us look like fools. I want him much higher on this list.
Yeah, based off of his college production, he should be much, much higher. But we'll see. Next up, Nick Muse, tight end.
We should have put him at 69 after that picture that was floating around Twitter with him. But Nick Muse, for a 7th round pick, I feel like he's got a fairly good chance to make this team. Not a lot ahead of him on the depth chart. Obviously, Johnny Munt's safe. Irv Smith Jr. is safe. But if they keep them, they're going to keep 3 tight ends. He's got to battle Ben Ellison. He's got to battle Zach Davidson, who looked god-awful, who I think was, toward the ass end of our list here. So Nick Muse, for a 7th-round pick, he's got some potential.
He's got potential. Like you said, though, it's more so there's not a ton in front of him. So, I mean, this list isn't so much who's going to make the team. It's just, I don't know. Again, I've said it, I sound like a broken record, but he's not a guy that just is overly fantastic at anything. I think it sounds like he's just kind of good at broad scope of dirt.
Quit saying dirt. There's a horrifying
who's been around the block. He's been on the team for a while. We're not showing him the respect he deserves by being on a pro football team for the last couple of years, but he's a special teamer at best. I'm shocked he's still on the team.
Yeah, we've been waiting for Josh Metellus to do a little bit more. I mean, he does have 31 games under his belt, 22 total tackles. A lot of that comes on special teams. A guy who I maybe thought was going to transition to a linebacker in the pros because he's not super great in coverage. That never really happened. So Josh Metellus, yeah, we're putting him on here. And again, he's falling down because I don't think neither one of us thinks he's making the squad this year.
I don't. And when he's been out there as a safety, he's definitely been a liability. Let's go to the offensive tackle, Mr. Timon Perry.
Yeah, a guy I didn't even know was on the depth chart prior to making this list.
Are you serious?
Well, it was a refresher. I completely forgot about Timon Paris, but we're going to give him some respect here because he does have 4 games with Washington on his resume. So he is a veteran, and damn it, gets a little bit of love from Onebar and Lupagus.
Yeah, I mean, validate though why he is this low. He was undrafted in 2018. He's already on his 5th team in the league. 5th team in the league. So people are. Are
you saying he's loose?
I'm just saying, yes, he's very loose. Teams have looked at him and said, you know what, we appreciate this, but you're just not that great. He's been on his practice squads mostly, but he has played in 4 games. Enough about him. Last one, not last one, but AJ Rose. Running back.
Yeah, AJ Rose, a guy buried on this depth chart, running back, very, very deep for the Vikings. But we did get to look at him in the preseason, and he looked damn good. A guy I actually thought, despite having a lot of guys ahead of him, I thought he maybe would sneak on this team as the 4th running back. But again, odds are even tougher now this year with Ty Chandler in the mix. So AJ Rose, a guy I think could be on someone's roster. I just don't know if that's going to be with the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, we always say that. We always have a running back. Every year we have a running back that just rips it up. We cut him. We're like, holy cow, I can't believe we cut him. Someone's going to pick him up. Nobody picks him up, and also he's back in our practice squad. So that validates why he's this low. We get excited about these running backs that rip it up, but they're really not that great. I'm sorry.
I want to make it clear that when I'm saying I can't believe they cut him, I don't do this.
I can't believe it. Well, everybody, we can't cut Rose. Somebody's going to snipe him. He's going to rush for 2,000 yards. Joe Banyard, Darius Reynard.
Some of that's true, but I also think a lot of these teams like the guys they have in camp, and they want to keep those guys if they can. So, AJ, I was more surprised he didn't get signed off the practice squad during the season. That was surprising.
Let's go next. And another White Davis. This might not be a popular one. Everyone's, he just got to get on the field. Zimmer screwed him. I don't know.
Yeah, we might all need to take a look in the mirror and just say to ourselves, Wyatt Davis isn't good, because that may be what we find out here. Was it injuries? Did it just not translate to the NFL? I don't know. We'll find out here in a couple weeks. But right now, Wyatt Davis, I think this is a great spot for him.
I'm
66? Where are we at?
I said it already, and this is way premature, just like Lupagus on a evening. But the fact that he wasn't even in the rotation, Jesse Davis ahead of him. I mean, he doesn't even get the smell of it. Give me a break. Damn it.
Yeah, so that doesn't bother me as much. I'm
that
watching
bothers
this
me.
ascension. I'm watching this ascension.
That bothers me. The fact
the bottom right now.
Kevin O'Connell, they were clearly scouting offensive linemen. It's not like he didn't know who Wyatt Davis was. Who the hell, Wyatt Davis? Oh, welcome to the team. They knew who he was, and he still didn't give it out there. He still made it a very high priority to go sign 19 guards this offseason. So I don't think he's very high on Wyatt Davis.
I mean, you're gonna bring competition, but again, to see him down the
We've
bottom
never
depth
signed
chart,
so many guards in
they're
my whole
gonna
life.
go with the veteran first. So I agree with you that I think Wyatt Davis's days of the Vikings are numbered. They're in jeopardy. I'm not gonna put a whole bunch of stock in what happened in OTA.
I don't care. I don't think they just give it to the veteran just because it's Jesse Davis. But we talked about Wyatt enough. Let's go to Luigi.
Yeah, Luigi Villain. This is kind of the dark horse favorite from this UDFA group to make this team. You look at, he kind of broke out last year, just about 9 sacks. Maybe it was 8.5. I can't remember off the top of my head. But a guy who I think is starting to come together at the college level. He's gotten praise from a bunch of guys he's played with. Everybody's calling this guy a dog. Great sign for the Vikings. Quiddy Pay. So I'm very excited to see what Luigi Villain does here. And a guy I think he's going to make this 53-man roster.
Yeah, he is definitely our highest undrafted free agent, and expectations are through the roof for this guy. Next up, expectations have probably never been lower. Oli Udoh. This must be our lowest ranked guy that's played the most.
Yeah, he's played the most, and he's played the most shitty football I've ever seen a guy string together. Maybe besides Dakota Dozier. Those two. Some games it was hard to pick which one was worse.
Garrett Bradbury.
Both just god awful. Oli Udoh could actually, the argument made that he should be probably in the 80s. He makes it into the 60s here. Again, a guy, I know he can play tackle in a pinch. I know he can play pretty much almost anywhere on the line, but he can't do any of those well. Oli Udoh, I think a guy who's going to maybe get his walking papers this year.
Well, you pretty much nailed it. The only reason he's this high is because he can play multiple positions at a fairly low level. And what makes it even worse for Oli Udoh is our next guy, Chaz Surratt. Chaz Surratt's ahead of Oli Udoh, and that's, I mean, I don't think that guy played. Did he play last year?
No, and that's the only reason he is higher, because Chaz Surratt still has some potential, still has some upside. We don't know. We know what we have with Oli Udoh. He's Oli Pudo. Chaz Surratt still a question mark. So if you're going to get cool, like do with those sequels, I think Chaz Surratt would be Chaz, S-U-R-A, and make those T's into question marks.
There you go. And then again, not saying good things about Chaz Surratt, but we got Janarius Robinson next. Again, a guy who did not play, who was injured, and was actually kind of projected to go like round 6, round 7, and we still have him above everybody else.
Yeah, this guy's completely untapped, unknown. He is an unsolved mystery. He is Robert's stack, but the 3-4 fit for this guy is going to be his alignment, what he's going to need to do, but he's got no better chance of making this team than a Luigi Villain or anybody else. So Janarius Robinson needs to impress this coaching staff, because this is not the group that brought him in, and he needs to come back healthy and ready to go.
All right, we got 2 more. Ty Mcgill is next. And the reason he's this high in my book is he's managed to stay in the league since 2015. I think that says a lot. He's got 5.5 career sacks, defensive tackle. He's played a lot of practice squads during his time in the league, but when he's got out there, he showed up. So Ty McGill might actually be a little bit of a dark horse.
Yeah, T.Y. McGill is a lot like T.J. Smith, right? I didn't even know he was on a team until he was out there during a game. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? It was McGill. What's he doing out there?
McGill
Silly? Making plays is what he's doing. Again, we're respecting his, he's been in the league since 2015. So a guy who he's hung in there. He's made a lot of teams, like you said. So this guy, he shows teams something, enough to keep around and maybe get on the field when injuries hit.
All right, last one coming in, cornerback, Mr. Chris Boydy.
Yeah. Coming in at 61, Chris Boyd, I think mostly for his special teams ability here, a guy who still does well in special teams. I love how excited he was getting when he was making plays down the field. Last year, though, some really, really, really tough moments to watch in coverage, and now he's got a lot more competition at the corner spot. So Chris Boyd, another guy who I think is definitely on the roster bubble right now.
Yeah, I mean, Boyd is not lower because I think he's kind of the guy. He's just fine to be like your last corner and a special teamer. You don't want him on the field unless there's some crazy shit going on. But special teams wise, it's fine. He probably deserves to be on an NFL roster, but you don't want to see a ton of them. That's the way I look at Chris Boyd.
And he looks like, I think he's a great locker room guy. Seems like he's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
There's a lot of injury.
Love him. Instagram
lightens the mood.
Trivia. How many interceptions does Chris Boyd have in his NFL career?
I'm going to go ahead and say 0.
0. You win nothing, but that is absolutely correct. Oh. So there it is. There is our 75 to 61. couple of surprise names, at least in my mind. I mean, Blake Brandel's still out there. Ben Ellison. We got a long snapper still out there. So be sure to stay tuned.
Yeah, things are going to get real interesting as we do the next 15 and as we get closer to number one, who it will be number one Viking on this 90-man roster according to Lupagus. You're going to find out. You're going to find out in a couple days, probably. Who knows? Maybe a week. Who knows? Depends how much news comes in. All right, so that is it. Let us know what you think from 75 to 61. Ranking these Vikings. Who do we miss? Who is too high? Who is too low? Who is just right? And also remember this: pigs can become alcoholics.